Part 1. In a lonely stretch of a backcountry highway, under a sky heavy with twilight secrets, a ghastly discovery sent shockwaves through a quiet American town. The lifeless body of a celebrated fashion model, Ava Brooks, was found sprawled on the barren road, her once mesmerizing features marred by a brutal disfigurement. Nearby, a weathered booth displayed a solitary photo of Ava, a silent, unnerving testament to a life that had once dazzled the bright lights of the runway. As whispers swirled among locals and law enforcement scrambled for answers, an unsettling narrative began to unfold, a tapestry interwoven with threats, cryptic messages, and hidden agendas reminiscent of a noir detective saga. Reports soon emerged that Ava had been the target of prolonged harassment. Mysterious packages arrived over weeks, unsettling photographs ripped from the pages of a forensic medicine textbook, their stark images suggesting a meticulously sinister mind at work. Threatening letters, scrawled in hurried, almost desperate script, piled up like dark omens on her doorstep, while menacing inscriptions sullied the walls of a rundown building on the edge of town. The evidence painted a portrait of a woman ensnared in a web of terror far deeper than anyone could have imagined. In the shadows of her glamorous past, Ava, whose life had been a vortex of glittering fashion shows and flashing cameras, found herself entangled with a womanizing traveler from overseas, a notorious sex tourist whose American connections were as murky as his own history. His presence in her final days cast an ominous pall over her demise, prompting investigators to peel back layers of relationships, jealousy, and unresolved grievances. The discovery of Ava's body wasn't merely a tragic end, but the opening chapter of what promised to be a labyrinthine investigation into a world where beauty, cruelty, and obsession coexisted in deadly harmony. As the clues began to interlock, detectives struggled to distinguish between the familiar allure of celebrity and the haunting undercurrents of a life lived in the limelight. Every piece of evidence and every cryptic note deepened the enigma, leaving the public both riveted and repelled by the dark reality hidden behind glamorous facades. Who could harbor such torment, and what twisted motives drove a person to orchestrate this terror? Set against the backdrop of a case that defied easy answers, the investigation was about to take a turn that would blur the lines between victim and perpetrator, light and shadow. Part 2. As investigators delved deeper into the grim puzzle, the layers of mystery began to reveal shocking details and hidden relationships that defied common expectations. The forensic team discovered that the unsettling photographs left for Ava were not mere random acts of cruelty. They were methodically selected, each image seemingly chosen to send a distinct message. Meticulous analysis suggested that someone familiar with forensic methods had been involved, someone who understood the symbolism behind the gruesome cutouts and the tortured art of handwriting in the threat letters. Meanwhile, the physical evidence scattered around the scene hinted at a level of premeditation that left even seasoned detectives unsettled. At the heart of the investigation stood a shadowy figure known as Michael Turner, a man whose murky past and entangled relationships made him an immediate person of interest. Michael, a notorious traveler with an infamous reputation, had been intimately entwined with Ava during the days leading up to her tragic end. Witnesses recalled whispered conversations in upscale diners and fleeting glances exchanged in dimly lit hotel lobbies, where he was often seen. His charm masked a complexity that extended far beyond casual liaison, and it seemed his connection to Ava was mired in secrets that went back years. Yet as police dug further, another name began to emerge from the dark corners of Ava's history, a name that added another layer of urgency to the unfolding drama. Suspicion began to focus on the Donovan siblings, Marcus Donovan and his enigmatic sister, Christine Donovan. Although their connection to Ava was tenuous at first glance, subtle threads began to weave them into the narrative. Marcus, whose past dealings with influential figures in the fashion industry were well known, had a reputation for operating in the liminal space between glamour and underworld intrigue. His sister Christine, with her air of unassuming charm, possessed a surprisingly steely resolve and a hidden history of personal losses that many believed could drive a person to extremes. As investigators pieced together eyewitness accounts, coded messages, and physical clues, it became increasingly clear that both Marcus and Christine might have played crucial roles in the dark script that led to Ava's fatal encounter. The investigative trail was fraught with twists that defied logical explanation. Hidden camera footage, intercepted communications, and encrypted digital footprints lent a surreal quality to the case, as if a cryptic mastermind had taken pleasure in orchestrating every detail. Hushed conversations in deserted parking garages and midnight rendezvous in abandoned industrial sites contributed to a sense of pervasive paranoia. For the detectives, every clue was a double-edged sword, a lead that might either unravel the truth or plunge them deeper into a labyrinth where every turn concealed more uncertainty than clarity. Amid the barrage of revelations, one fact grew increasingly undeniable. The world that Ava inhabited was one where beauty and danger danced a fine line, and where beneath the dazzling veneer of high society lay dark aspirations waiting to be exposed. Now, with both Michael Turner and the Donovan siblings under intense scrutiny, the investigation's stakes were raised enormously. It was as if each new piece of evidence illuminated not only the shadows cast by Ava's final moments, but also the blurred boundaries of friendship, betrayal, and clandestine ambition among those who orbited her life. Who among these enigmatic figures held the key to unlocking the mystery, and what dark secrets would ultimately resurface from the depths of their troubled past? Part 3. As the investigation pressed onward, the tension in the air grew nearly palpable. Detectives began to uncover startling new connections that seemed to tie together every shadow and every rumor swirling around Ava's untimely demise. A breakthrough, however, came wrapped in an unexpected twist. While scanning digital records and security logs from nearby establishments, investigators stumbled upon encrypted emails indicating that another influential figure, Samir Collins, a high-powered public relations magnate with deep roots in the glamorous yet treacherous world of fashion, might have been silently orchestrating a dangerous game behind the scenes. Samir's slick persona and unparalleled ability to navigate the corridors of power had long impressed the elite, but now his name came to the forefront as his digital footprints hinted at secret correspondences and transactions that might tie him to the ominous threats Ava had received. Scrutinizing each thread, detectives discovered that Samir had maintained discreet contact with both Michael Turner and the Donovan siblings for reasons that remained murky at best. Was he merely a facilitator who connected those with hidden agendas? Or did he serve as the intellectual architect of a nightmare far more intricate than imagined? Alongside these revelations, forensic experts unearthed additional physical evidence, an almost imperceptible smear of a rare chemical compound that linked directly to a specialized laboratory in a small American town. This discovery added yet another critical dimension to a case that had morphed from a tragic accident of fate into a calculated orchestration of cruelty. Under relentless scrutiny, the investigation began to shine a light on the dark underbelly of a society obsessed with surface-level glamour and high-priced allure. Every interview, every late-night search, every ciphered note led down unforeseen alleys of motive and opportunity, forcing detectives to constantly reevaluate their assumptions. The air of uncertainty was thick as witnesses recounted their fragmented memories of late-night rendezvous in deserted motels and clandestine meetings behind closed doors. Their disparate tales, when pieced together, created a fractured mosaic of desperation, power, and ultimately betrayal. The detectives quickly realized that Ava had unwittingly stepped into a world where each participant played multiple roles as both victim and perpetrator in a drama far too dangerous for the faint of heart. In those final harrowing days of investigation, one question echoed louder than the rest. Was Ava merely an innocent pawn caught in a relentless cycle of revenge and exploitation? Or was her fate the inevitable result of a meticulously devised plot orchestrated by a converging circle of ruthless ambitions? As the intricate details of her life came to light, the blurred boundaries between trust and treachery became ever more apparent. Each new piece of evidence acted like a shard of broken glass, reflecting the many faces and fractured truths of those involved in the case. And so, as the investigation teetered on the edge of a revelatory breakthrough, the mystery left viewers with a lingering query. In a world where the pursuit of beauty often masks the darkest desires, who truly holds the power to dictate fate, and how far would they go to commit their crimes in the name of ambition? The answers may be just a click away, waiting to be uncovered by those daring enough to follow the trail.